Did cavemen celebrate birthdays? It sounds funny, right? You can almost imagine a prehistoric family sitting around a fire, someone dragging out a stone bowl of berries, another person lighting tiny sticks like candles, and the whole cave singing the most awkward birthday song in human history. But when we ask this question seriously, it becomes much stranger because a birthday is not just a party. A birthday means you know the exact day someone was born. It means you track time. It means you care about age. It means one person's life is important enough to mark again and again. So the real question is not, did cavemen have cake? The real question is, when did humans start noticing that a life had a beginning worth remembering? For ancient humans, life was not measured by calendars on walls. It was measured by cold seasons, animal migrations, full moons, floods, fruit ripening, storms, hunger, and firewood running low. Nobody woke up in a cave and said, "Today is March 14th." There was no March. There was no paper calendar. There were no birthday notifications. But there was time. The moon grew and disappeared. The sun came back after winter. Children grew taller. Teeth came in. Boys and girls became hunters, gatherers, parents, elders. A baby who survived one winter was not just 1 year old. That child was a miracle that had beaten cold, sickness, hunger, predators, and the thousand invisible dangers of the ancient world. So did cavemen celebrate birthdays the way we do? Probably not. The earliest clear written evidence for birthday celebrations appears much later in ancient Mesopotamia, in cuneiform records from Lagash during the 3rd millennium BC, long after the Stone Age world people usually imagine when they say cavemen. But does that mean prehistoric humans ignored birth completely? Almost certainly not, because even without exact dates, birth mattered. A new baby changed the camp. It meant another mouth to feed, another body to protect, another future hunter, storyteller, gatherer, toolmaker, or healer. In a small group, every child mattered intensely. Today, a birthday can mean balloons, gifts, and cake. Back then, the celebration may have been quieter but deeper. A baby surviving its first night, first winter, first sickness, first step, first tooth, first time walking beside the group instead of being carried. Those moments may have mattered far more than a number. Imagine an Ice Age camp in the evening. The fire is burning low. Outside the light, the wind moves through the grass, and somewhere in the dark, wolves are listening. A mother holds a baby wrapped in animal skin. The child is alive. That alone is a victory. Maybe there is no song. Maybe there is no special day written down. But someone adds more wood to the fire. Someone shares a better piece of meat. Someone paints the child's skin with ochre. Someone gives the child a bead, a shell, a small charm, or a name. We cannot prove that exact scene happened, but we do know ancient humans used symbols, ornaments, pigments, and ritual behavior very far back in time. The Smithsonian notes that by around 100,000 years ago, our ancestors were burying the dead with beads and symbolic objects. And by 77,000 years ago, marked objects may have been used to count or store information, although researchers still debate exactly what those marks meant. That matters because birthdays require more than memory. They require symbolic thinking. You have to understand that today connects to a day in the past. You have to turn time into meaning. And ancient humans were clearly capable of meaning. They painted caves, wore ornaments, buried loved ones, used color, told stories, and passed knowledge from one generation to another. The birthday party may be recent, but the emotional roots of birthdays are ancient. Humans have always cared about beginnings. A birth is the most dramatic beginning there is. But here's the twist. For prehistoric people, the exact day of birth may have been less important than the season of birth. A child might not be remembered as born on April 2nd. They might be remembered as born when the reindeer returned, born during the great snow, born when the river flooded, born when the berries were red, or born after the mammoth hunt. That kind of timekeeping is not weak. It is alive. It ties a person to the land. In the modern world, your birthday is a number on a calendar. In the ancient world, your birth may have been connected to the behavior of animals, the sky, the weather, and the survival of the group. You were not born on a date, you were born inside a story. And stories are powerful. They can carry memory better than numbers. A child could grow up hearing, "You were born in the winter when the fire almost died," or "You were born when your father returned with meat," or "You were born during the season the wolves came close." That is not a birthday card. That is an origin legend. Now, could prehistoric humans track age? Yes, at least in rough ways. They could see babies become children, children become adults, adults become elders. They could count moons, seasons, winters, hunts, or migrations. Some prehistoric markings have been interpreted by some researchers as possible lunar or seasonal records. But this is heavily debated, and a 2025 Cambridge Archaeological Journal article warns that some claims about Upper Paleolithic lunar calendars are not well supported or testable. So we should not pretend every cave wall was a secret birthday calendar. But we also should not imagine ancient humans as clueless about time. Their lives depended on it. Knowing when animals migrated, when plants returned, when rivers froze, when storms came, and when winter was approaching could decide who lived and who died. Time was not decoration, time was survival. And if you can track the return of herds, you can probably remember roughly when a child was born. The bigger question is whether they cared about the anniversary. That is harder. Annual birthdays become easier in settled societies with calendars, farming cycles, written records, kings, property, inheritance, astrology, and official identity. In small hunter-gatherer groups, personal age may not have been celebrated every year in the modern sense. Instead, life stages may have mattered more. First hunt, first gathering trip, first tool made well, first time surviving alone outside the camp, first menstruation, first child, first scar, first successful tracking of an animal, first winter survived. These may have been the ancient milestones. Not "you are 7 today," but "you are ready." Not "make a wish," but "take this spear." Not "open your presents," but "now you carry fire." That kind of ceremony would feel less cute and more serious, because growing older was not just personal. It changed your duty to the group. A child becoming useful meant the camp became stronger. A young hunter becoming skilled meant more food. A young gatherer learning dangerous plants meant fewer mistakes. An elder surviving many seasons meant more memory for everyone. Age was not just a number. Age was responsibility. And in a dangerous world, responsibility was sacred. This is why the idea of cavemen birthdays is so interesting. It shows us how modern humans turn survival into celebration. Today, a birthday says, "You matter because you exist." In the ancient world, that idea may have started as, "You matter because you survived." Think about that. Before candles, surviving another year was not symbolic, it was real. Every winter survived was a victory over nature. Every sickness beaten was a victory over the invisible. Every child who grew strong was proof the group had done something right. The first birthday celebrations may not have looked like parties. They may have looked like relief, a shared meal, a mark on the body, a story told by the fire, a name given, a small object placed in a child's hand, a group quietly understanding. This one is still with us. There is also something beautiful about the fact that birthdays became more personal over time. In ancient written societies, birthday celebrations seem connected at first to elites, rulers, and important families. The Lagash text describes celebrations for a ruler's children, while later Roman society made individual birthdays more widespread, with evidence from plays, letters, and even a first-century birthday invitation from Vindolanda in Roman Britain. That means birthdays slowly moved from power to personhood. First, the powerful had birthdays worth recording. Later, ordinary people did too. And eventually, even a child with frosting on their face became the center of a tiny yearly ceremony. That journey is oddly human. We took the idea of time, wrapped it around identity, and turned it into a day where someone gets to feel remembered. So did cavemen celebrate birthdays? Not with cake, not with candles, not with wrapped gifts, not with a calendar alert, but they probably celebrated life in ways that were older, rougher, and maybe even more intense. They likely marked births, survival, growth, and adulthood through memory, ritual, story, objects, and seasonal meaning. A prehistoric child may not have known their exact birthday, but they might have known the story of their birth. They might have known the season. They might have known the animal that passed that day, the storm that hit that night, the person who carried them, the fire that kept them alive. And maybe that is the oldest birthday of all, not a date, but a story the group refuses to forget. Because long before humans counted years on paper, they counted what mattered. They counted winters survived. They counted children still breathing. They counted elders still speaking. They counted the return of the sun after cold months. They counted the living around the fire. And somewhere in that circle, thousands of years before balloons and birthday songs, one simple human feeling was already burning. You are here, you survived, and we remember.